Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chemistry 3001 Summer of 2021. My name is Anastasia Capabianco, and I will be your lab instructor for the summer course of Chemistry 3001. These are the syllabus that were posted on Blackboard. Please take a look at the schedule, even though it's not filled completely yet, and take a look at the important information that you can get at the syllabus. It is posted in course documents for your lab section. Make sure you're opening the correct lab section. Make sure you're not checking on the lecture section, but the lab one. This is my email, and you can always email me with any type of a question that you have regarding syllabus, regarding questions. Some of the questions I can answer, some of the questions regarding the solutions and answers, I will have to take a look at the problem in order to reply to you, but you can email me any time of the day. I will not reply after 9-10 p.m. unless it's something really urgent. You can also use this textbook. It is free. You can download it for free on OpenStax. It will be helpful for you for the lecture portion and some of the labs. So our laboratory will be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 11:15 a.m. until 1:45 p.m. Every Monday and Wednesday, you'll have a lab. It will be either lobster simulation or it will be already pre-made lab for you, and you'll have to read through the lab, watch a video probably, or do some sort of a simulation and write a lab report. On Thursdays, you will always have a quiz with the lecture from the lecture, or you will have some sort of exam. It is up to Dr. Wap how to schedule the quiz exams for the summer course. But Mondays and Wednesdays, there's always will be a recording for you for each lab, so you know what to do, and the pre-recorded session will be posted on Blackboard. So please make sure to check on the Blackboard every single Monday and Wednesday for your lab section to make sure that you know what we are doing. As of right now, the schedule for the lab is not 100% set, but for today we'll go over some safety rules. These are two videos that you need to watch on YouTube. There also will be a lab simulation from the Labster that you also need to finish. There are two lab simulations. It is lab safety and chemistry safety. Just a reminder that Labster doesn't work with Safari. It only works with Google Chrome or maybe Mozilla, whatever other application you have to use. Just open it through those applications. Do not open it through Safari. So today, June 7th of 2021, you have to watch two videos. They're not too complicated. There is nothing really for you to do about those videos, just to watch them, and you have to complete Labster safety lab. Okay, by the time you finish the Labster safety, I will have your grade downloaded to Blackboard. You can do the Labster simulations as many times as you can. You can finish it first time, see what the grade you got. If you're happy with your grade, then you can stop. If you're not happy and you want to get a perfect score, you can redo the labs as many times as you want. For the safety lab, there is no score because it's not going to be calculated towards your final grade. It is just the score will be 1. I just need to make sure that you finish the lab. It's going to give me the check mark that you finished the Labster safety labs. Okay, there are 2 safety labs that you need to finish. They're really short, they're not too complicated, just don't worry about it. Okay, please check for more information about the labs, and it will be provided more on Blackboard page. Make sure to check the laboratory Blackboard page, not the lecture one. You will have 8 labs for this semester. There will be 4 quizzes, 1 review session for the final exam, and final exam during the lab time. So just make sure that you follow the schedule. So this Thursday, you already have your first quiz. The quiz is going to be only on lecture portion. Nothing will be tested on laboratory portion. For lab, you will have to finish your labster and write some lab reports. Labster will be 50% of your score for the lab, and lab reports will be 50%. So it's pretty much the same type of a grade. So 50 and 50. If you're doing your labsters and they're perfect score 100, and your lab reports approximately 95, 96, then you're in a good position, and you'll get a pretty good grade for the lab portion. So this Wednesday you'll have your first lab, and it will be already pre-made for you. Okay, there will be a video, there will be a simulation, and you'll have to write a lab report in it. For labster simulations, you don't have to write any lab reports, so you're pretty much going to be writing about 4 to 5 lab reports this semester. Each lab report will be due Friday midnight. So if, for example, you have your first introduction today, right, you'll do labster simulation, and it will be graded right away for you. You'll get your grade right away, right? Even though we're not counting, but if you have a lab, then it will be graded right away. For labs, like for example, on Wednesday, you have a qualitative analysis of anions. There will be also a pre-made video for that lab as well. And you'll have to watch videos, you have to do a simulation, and then you'll have to write a lab report on it. We'll go over how to write the lab report as well. You will have to write the lab report by Friday midnight, and you'll have to submit it on Blackboard page. Okay, there will be a special section where it says submit lab reports here, and then on Thursday you'll have your first quiz for the lecture. So make sure you manage your time. You can study for the quiz on Wednesday and then dedicate your Thursday for writing your first lab report, and then Friday lab report. I'm assuming there will be some questions emailed me on Thursday and Friday. Maybe I'll set up like a small chat group where you can ask me and I'll answer your questions, at certain times, or maybe other students can answer it. And then we will also find out what other labs will be for the rest of the semester. I will let you know everything before you submit. Make sure you did not copy some stuff from someone else, because it is very important that you write your lab reports by yourself. Labs will be worth 20% of your grade, and quizzes will be 60%, and final exam will be 20%. So 20% for your labs is a lot, so make sure you write them really well and you submit everything on time. There will be penalty if you did not submit your lab reports on time. If you have some emergency, you have some problems, please let me know and email me right away so I can give you some sort of extension to submit your lab reports. But don't forget, your lab, this session is only a couple of like 4 or 5 weeks, right? It goes by so fast, and it's very, very concentrated in knowledge, and there's so much information gonna happen during this semester. So make sure not to postpone any lab reports until later. It is very important you submit everything on time. Okay, now let's take a look how to write a lab report. For each experiment, I will post a specific lab guide. What I want from each one of you, what to write in each lab report. Okay, so it's not going to be like a surprise for you. So each section is approximately 10%. For doing the simulation and watching the videos, I'm giving you 50 points. For doing the lab report, I'll give you another 50 points. So by just doing the simulations, you get 50 points, and then by writing the lab report is 50 points. So each section is approximately 10 points. Let's look at the abstract. The abstract is a brief summary of the experiment focusing on your results. What do I want to see in abstract? I want to see the purpose of the experiment, usually stated in the lab manual, the methods you used, the online program that you used in order to do the simulations, and your final results. Final results will probably be the concentration, the final pH of the solution, or maybe the final concentration of the solution that you use, depending on the experiment. Please do not include any procedure into your abstract, meaning I mixed 20 milliliters of one solution, I added some metals, some solids to the solution, and then I mixed it up, and then the black precipitate formed, or some other experimental procedural details that will just remove some points from your abstract. Okay, moving on. Introduction. Introduction will be usually a couple of definitions that you need to provide explanation to. Definitions will be given to you. You'll just need to look it up. What does it mean? Maybe you'll have to include some formulas. Maybe you'll need to include some equations. It will be all stated for you, so it's not going to be a surprise. For each definition that you're looking up, you need to make sure to provide a footnote or some sort of a reference. It must be cited. You can include those citations on the bottom of your lab report or in the end of your lab report, but just to make sure for each definition there is a citation. So if I want to make sure that you got it from the correct source, I click on your citation or I look it up and it's the same definition as in your lab report. Everything has to be included. You have to make sure to give a credit to someone who actually created this definition. Okay, data is going to be tables that were provided to you, or you probably collect some sort of information already through the simulation. So these are going to be some sort of a tables. This is something if you would be in the lab. Reminders for keeping laboratory records is usually for something if you would be doing experiment in person. Since we are not doing any experiments in person, you can skip on this whole portion. How to keep on your data and complete reports. Calculations, you must to include all of your calculations or at least a sample of calculations for your laboratory. So please make sure you include all of the units set up for the calculations. Make sure you explain how you did the calculations if it's required. I'll show you how to do everything when we'll start with our first experiment. Limits on results. This is something very confusing for students, but we will try to keep this section for the semester, even though you'll have a couple of lab reports. You'll have to learn how to do the limits on results. So if you're using any type of measurement equipment, right, you'll have to make sure to include limits on results. What are the possibilities of your error in this experiment that caused the possibly incorrect result in your lab report, right, for your final results? So the possible measurement errors can be possibly burette, graduated cylinder, or maybe triple beam balance, or maybe it's an analytical balance, and or maybe it's a thermometer. So basically what you're doing in each experiment, you're looking for the correct number of significant digits. You're looking for the numbers that were provided to you already in a simulation, and then you determine what is the smallest number of that measurement that can cause you an error. So for example, there is an explanation over here. You can take a look and read right over here just to make sure you understand what it is. But for example, in your experiment, you were given the number of mass, for example, 8 grams, right? So your error for this analytical balance, let's say it's analytical balance, right? With the grams, will be 0.001 gram.